that's fine. We can head back. I want to head towards Germany, somewhere in Germany. No, that's Norway. DK. That's Denmark. We haven't got anywhere to go in Germany. Okay. Have we got anywhere? Oh, Czech Republic. That seems pretty good actually. Should we take the Czech Republic one? I think, and set off there. Okay. So this is my actual garage. Oh, it's looking pretty sweet actually. Oh, sorry, that was not the that's not the button I wanted to press. Okay, there we go. I think if you remember back in the very first episode, we had this, and it was like just a run-down little shack, but now it's looking pretty good. So happy with that. Anywho, let's get going, I guess. Is everything no? Okay, so I think we'll be fine on sleep. I should definitely change camera to get out of here. Someone needs to clean up those pallets. Dave, could you? Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers, you're on it. Okay, no problem. God, it just ran into that. Turning circle is not quite what I thought it would be. So we need to go left. We have, of course, just missed our opportunity to go left, as always. And I hope you guys are all doing very well. I'm doing good. Just getting over a bit of a cold. I don't know if it was a cold. It was kind of with me for about 2 weeks or so. But I also don't think it was flu, so I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it, at the end of the day? It is what it is. If you're feeling run down for a couple of weeks, that's the thing. But feeling better now, which is good, because actually I'm off to work in a few hours, and that's my last day for a week. I'm on like a holiday, so that's really nice. Holidays are cool. Wait a second, why is my sat nav not? Yeah, that should set it to. There we go. I don't know why, but it was setting it to. Okay, we've got to go right here. Well, that was lucky, we nearly went straight past that. It was setting it to the actual destination rather than where I need to go and pick up the freight. It could have been a disaster. We could have driven all the way to Hungary with nothing. Czech Republic, actually, sorry. Okay, let's pick up our stuff. 59,000. It's a decent load, not gonna lie. It's probably gonna be a long episode as well then. We're going all the way to the Czech Republic. Okay. But yeah, so just getting over that, which is nice. Which is good as well. I guess it's fairly appropriate actually that we are in London. Started off back in London because for those who don't know, I live in London. I've lived in London for about the last nearly 6 years now actually. I originally grew up in West Sussex, which is like on the south coast of the UK. It's a really nice area, which I really like it there, and that's kind of where I always think of as home, if that makes sense. Like even when you move away from somewhere, and I probably left West Sussex when I was about 18, 19, so it's been about 15 years or so since I've lived there, but I should really switch back, but we'll just navigate this roundabout first. Switch back to Cap Mood, that is. Yes, it's been about 15 years since I lived in West Sussex, but I still count it as home because, it's where I grew up, and when you have those like childhood memories of things, it's just kind of natural that that's kind of where you consider to be home, even though like my parents and my family don't live in West Sussex anymore themselves, so I don't even go back there to visit anybody. I haven't actually probably been there for like 10 years or so. But it's still, I still think of it very fondly. I should actually go back soon, just visit it or something like that, but I don't have a car, so it kind of makes it a little bit difficult. Could visit it in Eurotrucks and Goodnight, but it's not quite the same thing. But as most of you probably know, there was like a terror attack on London. I'm recording this on the Saturday. It was on the Wednesday, and obviously that's very sad. An atrocious act of just pure cowardice, really. I'm not going to talk about it very much in this video because I'm planning on doing my kind of vlog on it and stuff, but it's I was at work at the time. I work about, I'd say, a 20-minute journey away from where it actually happened. So I wasn't really like anywhere near the kind of hub of it all. And one thing which did kind of annoy me was the way they spoke about London being shut down. I think some like American journalist tweeted about London being shut down, which couldn't be further from the truth. I was actually travelling home about an hour after it happened, and apart from the actual area that it happened, which was Westminster, there was no issues anywhere else. It's ridiculous when something atrocious happens and people try to use that for their own gain, if that makes sense. Their own political agendas, when really and truthfully it's not about that at all. But as I said, I don't really want to talk too much about it. I just wanted to kind of mention it because it was a thing. I was meant to when I came home that night. I was going to stream, and I was going to record one of my real life ASMR videos, but I was just kind of bummed out. As you can imagine, it just when it didn't feel right. So I didn't do any of that thing and any of that stuff. And even the next day, obviously, it was still very, very sad. And as I said, I've lived in London for 6 years now. London's had terror attacks before. I didn't think when I've been living in the city. Obviously, the last big one was the July the 7th attacks on the tube, trains, and buses. But one thing which always kind of like, not necessarily saying cheers me up, but it always kind of gives you a bit of hope, is like people's everyday reaction to, I don't know why I'm overtaking this guy, but people's everyday reaction to what goes on and what happens, because that is really the kind of the heartwarming and amazing thing about this is when you have you can see that even though these attacks, the main purpose is to divide people, it actually strengthens it and brings them together in what is undoubtedly probably the most multicultural society, or the most multicultural city in the world, I'd say. I don't know that for sure, but I can't think off the top of my head somewhere which is more diverse than London. But there you go. As I said, if you want to kind of find out more, I'll be doing my vlog on it this week, because I do my vlog on stuff which happens, whether it's gaming or kind of like stuff in real life, and obviously this is kind of like dominating life at the minute, as it were. So probably wouldn't be right to not speak about it. Although having said that, I just feel bad about things like this because I never know what to do in terms of monetization and stuff like that, because I obviously monetize my videos. You don't see ooh, nice bridge. You don't see adverts, or you shouldn't see adverts at the beginning of my videos. You will do on Zelda because Nintendo. But you'll see the little pop-up banners and stuff like that. That's my monetization, and that's all I do. And the reason I do that is because these videos are meant to be relaxing, and meant to be able for people to watch them. Maybe when you just want to chill out and relax, and what you don't want is a giant advert blaring away in your face. obnoxiously, even though obviously most of the time you can skip them, although whichever person thought up those Trivago hotel adverts, which you can't skip, unskippable adverts are the bane of my life. If YouTube Red was available in the UK, I would dearly get it, but it's not available in the UK because I don't know why. And yeah, but anyway, I never know what to do. I think I'll probably just demonetize the vlog because it just doesn't feel right to profit off that. Or I guess the opposite way you can go is to fully monetize it and then donate everything you get to the fund, which I guess in a way would be better to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not going to get very many views on it, so it's not going to make a lot, but, you know, I'm sure I'll make a donation anyway. I know there was like a GoFundMe set up for the police officer who died for his family, which actually I think reached a crazy amount of money in a short space of time, so that's cool. That's good. As I said, it's always kind of heartwarming. Oh, it's a police car. I've not seen a police car in ages. That's crazy. But yeah, so as I'm going to cover that more, then you're running out of fuel. Okay, right, yeah, we should find a gas station. We literally just passed one. Okay, that's not good, is it? We want to go off here. I'm not too worried about that because I think my truck's got a pretty big fuel tank, so I think even though it's on the red, I think it's going to last enough to get some more service, and that is a beautiful sunset. That is really nice. That is Zelda worthy. In the big scheme of things. And yeah, actually, I mentioned like Nintendo. If you do watch any of my Zelda videos or just anything Nintendo related, you'll probably notice that there are adverts at the beginning. They are not what I put on, unfortunately. Every single Nintendo video I upload, which has only been Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild so far, but I will do more. They get monetized by Nintendo, so they copyright claim them. You don't get into trouble for anything, but basically what they do is they take all the money from the advert because they're the only game company who do that, and they fully put adverts on it. Now I wouldn't mind if we came to an agreement where it was just like, okay, we just don't monetize it whatsoever, we just turn it off, but I can't even do that. So there has to be adverts, full adverts on those videos. So like I literally lose money by putting up Breath of the Wild videos. The reason being that like if I just put up a different video that day, you know, no matter how many views it would get, I would make money off that. But putting a Zelda video up means I get zero money, so technically I lose money. Luckily, I don't do this for money because if I did, I'd be doing a really terrible job. I just do it because I enjoy doing it. And this is a really stunning. And this, I think we're like in the south, kind of like around the south coast right now. This car's. Oh, what are you doing, car? You should have gone, idiot. Oh well. There's a car behind me there which just wouldn't go. We're getting a nice drive through the English countryside, aren't we? So that's good. I really need some fuel, so if there's any services anywhere, please can I... We're actually going to get to Dover and get on the ferry before we get some fuel. So this isn't very good, is it? I did not plan this out very well at all. I thought there would have been like a fuel stop nearby. Never mind. Never mind. So theoretically, oh no, it should only take a couple of hours. I guess it would be night time by the time we get to France. I think we're going to, yeah, we must be going to France. We get the Channel Tunnel. It only goes to France, doesn't that's why as well, like, you don't see as many like big YouTubers do that much Nintendo content because they lose money by doing it, which is, you know, if you have to do it, if you have to do this as a business, if it's your livelihood, like you can't be losing money, you know, by putting videos up. It just, like, that's lunacy, isn't it? No matter how good the game is, you can play the game. Sure, you could maybe put one or two up, but it's unlikely that you're going to want to do. Shit, I crashed. I thought I was just coasting in then. Is this where we should be? No. Okay, we should not be there. Whoopsie. Oh, there we go. Well, that was a bit of a bummer. I thought I had to like park in there. Even though I've been on Channel Tunnel with this like, I don't know, 3 times or so, I still forgot. Okay, right, we need some fuel. I guess we can go up this way. We need some fuel. Probably we don't need to sleep yet, but I hope we don't run out of petrol. That would be quite embarrassing, gotta say. I don't know what happens if that does happen, by the way, so I guess we'll all find out together. But I mean, of course, like, you know, there are 2 reasons why I'm putting up Zelda videos. Obviously, the main reason is because I just really enjoy playing it, and I think it suits ASMR really well with what it's doing, and it's a really fun game to play. It's a really good game, and you know, I want to have good games on my channel, if that makes sense. You know, and obviously, like, I'm spending a lot of my own time. I would be spending a lot of my own time playing Zelda if I wasn't. If I wasn't recording it anyway, so like it would make sense to record it. And secondly, like, obviously it brings people to my channel to explore different content, you know, so it's not totally my god, this is slow. It's not a totally like I don't know, selfless act, I guess. Nothing ever is it, when you put things up. There has to be that balance between the stuff you want to play and stuff people want to see, I guess. Ultimately, it's always going to be stuff you want to play, but there are things which I want to play, which I just know are either A, not suited to the channel because of the content in them, or B, like, I mean, the other thing is like the size of series. So I mean, like, Zelda's still doing really well, but ultimately you will always see like long series will tail off on there from, you know, first few episodes. That's just natural, isn't it? You know, Skyrim, you know, first few episodes have got over 1,000 views. You know, Skyrim episodes now are up to like episode 60. It's got like it's getting like 200 views an episode, which is just natural that happens. But like, the longer a series goes on, generally the more it will drop down. But as long as you enjoy doing it, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. You just have to be careful with, you know, what you're putting up, because one of the things I'm going to do actually in Skyrim is record like a sort of something where I'm like, okay, the story so far, because obviously it's a bit daunting, I guess, to jump into a 60 episode series, especially when the episodes are like 45 minutes long. You just don't know, whereas I guess maybe something like Euro Truck Sim doesn't matter where the hell you jump in, does it? Because it's not like there's a story progression. It would be pretty cool if there was a story mode. Maybe they'll do that for Euro Truck Sim 3, like just some sort of bonkers, like, I don't know, like get association or something, and you have to battle your way back up from nothing to do that. And then maybe at some point there's like some sort of like around Europe race or something you have to compete in. That'd be super cool, actually. You know, whoever can hold the most cargo in 48 hours or something wins, and they could do all sorts of super cool cutscenes and things like that. I think that would be so cool if they did that. Or you could have like a real kind of like play on like Fast and Furious, where you're like an undercover cop and you get into the trucking scene because you've heard about like these illegal trucking shipment things or something like that, or like, and so like you get involved in the oh thank God we've got a petrol station coming up, and yeah, but then when you're undercover you actually get to know the other truckers, and then you really get to become family to them. It's all about the family, isn't it? And Fast and Furious as a result. I think this is genius, by the way. I might actually pitch this idea. And yeah, as a result, you turn your back on the life of being a cop, and you join the truckers, and yeah, because it's all about the family. That would be super cool. Euro Truck Simulator, Tokyo Drift. This is going to be an expensive refuel. It has to be the most expensive refuel I've ever done. How many litres? Is it going to get over 1,000? Yes, it is. Wowzers. That's a lot of money. Do we want to sleep? You know what? We might as well while we're here. Hadn't we? Although, actually, is this not a little bit awkward? No, it isn't actually, because I think we can sleep here. Will it let me? I think it will. There we go. It's like a really precise point. It's just like this. Oh, this is fiddly as hell. There we go. Wow, I didn't think I was going to manage to do that, but there we go. Okay. Well, our other driver made us £4,000. That's good. Okay, let's go. I think we'll be able to buy another truck at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. That's exciting. Or not, if you don't find that exciting, but yeah, I think we'll definitely do that, because we'll have over £100,000 by the time we finish this. The truck's about £100,000, so cool. Yeah, so I think I've just come up with some genius ideas as to what they could do for Euro Truck Sim 3. I think story mode in it, based upon the Fast and Furious, would be quite possibly the greatest game you've ever seen. If they introduce a NOS button as well, which you could just hit, that would be amazing. And by the way, there will be a Euro Truck Simulator 3. Like, that is without a doubt. This game is incredibly successful for what essentially is a low budget indie game. Whoa, did he crash into that car? And I don't mean that in a negative way of like, oh, look at it, oh, it's so low budget, but what I mean is like, it's an indie game. It's not got a AAA budget on it, and they've achieved amazing things in the game, and they've had really good success, So, I think Euro Truck Sim 3, we're just going to see something which is just incredibly big. As I said, I've talked in other episodes about what I think would be super cool on a more serious note, other than story mode. But in terms of like actually including Russia in it and being able to drive across Russia, and that would just be incredible. Going all the way to China, that would be amazing. That would really be incredible. But I don't know how many trucks actually go from the UK to Russia on one trip. Seems like you could just fly things there a lot easier, but I don't know. honest to God, I'm not really a summer person. Like, there are a lot of downsides to it, especially when you travel to work on public transport, because number one, it gets smelly, and number two, it gets really hot, and then you get smelly because it's really hot. Thus completing the circle, the BO circle. But but you know, you gotta love the summer, haven't you? Just that feeling of when you get outside your door and there's just that warmth which comes down. It's a great feeling. I love it. Okay, we need to go left here. That was lucky. Yeah, it's a great feeling. So I cannot wait, and I've actually got a few things planned, which I need like a good day to do. I've got like a plan to do like a little tour around London. You know, just like some of the famous spots. Not kind of like video recorded, but like taking pictures and things like that, and then also like chatting about it as I'm there, using like a portable mic and stuff like that, which I think could be super cool. Also might look really, really weird if I'm just chatting. I might just actually do it, like get the ambient sounds, if that makes sense. Get out of the way, car. Yeah, I could just do like ambient sounds and things like that of like everyday London life. Probably just be cars going around everywhere, to be fair, but it is what it is. And yeah, that could be pretty cool. Okay, so we can't do Belgium here, is it? Yeah, it looks like Belgium. The black, yellow and red flag of Belgium. And then the blue, white, the tricolor of France. So we are in Belgium. You can stop off and see Oddmush, the content creator who lives in Belgium, on the way. It's one of the amazing things that always blows my mind actually about YouTube is whenever I look on like my analytics page, and you can have a look at what countries are watching, and obviously the majority of it is America, Canada, UK, Australia, because they're predominantly English speaking countries, but then like so many other countries, like just countries which you just would never assume someone would watch your video on. If you are from one of those countries, welcome, hello. It always amazes me, especially when it's like sort of Asian countries like Korea and Japan, or like South American countries, places like that. And I'm just like, this is crazy, you know, like this is the world now. You know, you can record a video just in my home in London, in England, and put it up on the internet, and then people from literally thousands and thousands of miles, tens of thousands of miles away, are going to go and watch that video. You know, it's just crazy to think of it. You know, it must, and that's me who's like a tiny YouTuber. You know, for someone like you who's a big YouTuber, you know, million plus subs, like that is just mind blowing, isn't it? You know, I think like what we're gonna see in the future of like media is like, I can't see like, obviously television's always going to be a thing. I've spoken about this before, where I don't see like cable or satellite or terrestrial TV becoming being a thing in like 5 years to 10 years time. I genuinely can't. It's going to be all internet based, because it's just ridiculous otherwise. You know, being able to pick and choose when you want to watch things, what you want to watch. Like, who's gonna choose not to do that? It's dumb. But you know, I could also see like just the penetration of something like YouTube being worldwide. Like, you know, without a doubt, someone like, I mean, obviously maybe not a great example, but someone like PewDiePie, who is obviously the largest YouTuber. Like, I'm sure if that guy goes pretty much to genuinely most countries in the world, people will know who he is. You know, like there will be some people there who know who he is, because the penetration of him and his channel is so large, so Whereas if someone's on like a TV show in the UK, this could be a really big TV show in the UK, but like people in other countries wouldn't have a clue they are because they don't show those TV shows, you know. So my kind of point is that I think in the future as well we're going to see things where like TV shows, I don't want to say become a thing of the past, but I think they'll become more global. They'll become more like YouTube type things. Like even now we're seeing where, like for example, I love watching like the kind of like late night American shows, you know, like you know, James Corden, or Stephen Colbert, or those kind of guys. And I can't watch them in the UK because it just doesn't let me. It's like, no, sorry, that content's not available. But I could go on YouTube and I could watch most bits of the shows because they put them up on YouTube for me to watch. So I think it's only natural that like people are just going to more and more start migrating to YouTube to see things like that, rather than perhaps watch on TV. Obviously there's always going to be a generation of people who do that, but eventually, you know, once, you know, the teenagers of today become adults, and you know, even, you know, the adults of today have become, you know, dead for want of a better word, you know, people will just, you know, things will change. It'll be really interesting to see how that is, because like I said it before, where if you look at the technological changes from up until about 1900, from the way the world changed for, like I said, 500 years previously to that, or even 1,000, it didn't change that much. But you look at how things have changed from, say, 1900, the year 1900 to now. It's insane, the technological advancements that have happened. And to think how that's going to happen in another 50 to 100 years is even more insane to think of what's going to happen, and it's exciting, but unfortunately I won't be alive to see most of them, which is a bummer, unless they really do get some sort of technological advancement which allows me to live that long, which I sincerely doubt will happen. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know. And some people might say actually that technological advancement is coming too fast, and you might not be wrong. That's like things are changing too quickly for people to adapt to, and it's what's causing a lot of like culture rifts, as it were, you know. So the Western world is advancing at a rate that, you know, isn't just exceeding, say, the less developed world, but is actually, oh god, we're going to hit this truck. Yep, we hit the truck. That's my bad. But he should have stopped. He could see me indicate. But yeah, like, you know, it just, and that kind of like, number one, it breeds like a culture gap in your own country. So, you know, parents become unable to relate to their children because they don't understand the technology that the children are using, that maybe it scares them, you know, internet, stuff like that. You know, and they don't understand anything about their, you know, day-to-day lives, and in the same way, you know, teenagers don't understand their parents. You know, and there's that kind of gap, and even more so for people older, you know. And then you also have, like, you know, different countries developing at different rates as well. And, you know, the Western world is far exceeding the development rate of, you know, first world, and that, you know, that can lead to issues there as well. These gaps that are happening, exploitation of, you know, lesser developed worlds for the sake of, you know, so-called first and third world countries, is also an issue, you know. Like, for example, Apple make their phones in, like, you know, in countries which, shall we say, without wanting to get sued by Apple, it's a lot cheaper to make them in than it is to make them, say, in America or a first world country, shall we say. This is a nice bridge. We're supposed to get outside of this bridge. It's nice. There's another nice bridge over there. Belgium, you have nice bridges. Wait, if I'm speeding and these cars are flying past me, then what the hell are they doing? Okay, it's weird. But yeah, so you know, in some ways they are exploiting the country for their own financial gain, which you can argue is just business, or you can argue is morally wrong. But it's not like it necessarily makes the product cheaper, is it? Because they're not cheap products. I have real beef with Apple and their business practices. To be fair, I don't like their products, and I don't like the way they do business. But again, it's just my personal opinion on that one. I'm sure many people would be able to argue the other way, the things they've done, but I don't know. I feel from where they came from, they've lost their way somewhat. But there you go. People keep buying their stuff. People seem to keep enjoying it. So, you know, maybe I'm the minority that what is wrong. I accept that. But yeah, Belgium's looking nice. So we got some cloudy weather over here, but over here it's nice and blue. We've still got a bit of a way to go yet, that's for sure. It's nice scenery though. It's good driving around Europe. I want to do some more. Like as I said, I've got like a bit of holiday coming up. Well, I moved my mouse accidentally. That's what happened. Yeah, I've got a bit of holiday coming up, and I want to do some videos on driving games, stuff like that, because I just recently brought a steering wheel. I think I mentioned in one of these videos. I tried to use it, but it's not relaxing to use a steering wheel in Euro Trucks. It's good fun, but like the controller is just a lot easier and like more relaxing. And that's kind of what this video is about. So I don't want to have to be worrying about, you know, shifting up and down in gear and you know, accelerating, braking, using my feet and getting used to all that. I'm sure if I got used to it eventually, like it would be fine. But you know, it's not what I want to do really. I'm happy with the controller, for sure. It's a lot better than mouse and keyboard. I do recommend using a controller if you are interested in this. The controller's pretty cheap now for PC. You don't necessarily have to have a Xbox or PlayStation 4 controller, although both of those do work if you have a console. But yeah, I brought a steering wheel, so I want to do some more videos, or some video, I guess some more, on like driving games, because I've done some on like Forza before, which I'm a big fan of, but I'd like to do maybe someone like Project Cars and Drive Club on PlayStation as well, and you know, just have a look at those games. I guess I'm by no means a good like racing car driver. That sounded weird. A good like racing game player. I mean, I'm not really good at any games. I'm a jack of all trades rather than a master of anything. But but I enjoy them. So you know, I think people generally tend to quite like those videos. So I'll probably do that. Some nice wind bills in the distance. See, I don't understand this concept where people are like, oh, they look horrible, and they like, you know, they ruin the landscape. I think they look really cool. Like they're much better than like aerials and things like that. You see, I actually really like them. I don't know how much noise they make, but I wouldn't object to living near a wind farm if I had to look out my window and see it every day. I think there's something quite beautiful about them. But again, I guess that's just my opinion. maybe if you actually do live next door to one, maybe you really hate it. I don't know. Maybe it's really noisy. I mean, I guess that's the thing. One of my favourite parts of Grand Theft Auto 5 is the wind farm there. I think that's super cool. There they are, a little bit closer, just off to the right there. I think there's something really cool about them. These like giant man-made structures which are utilising like nature to provide power, which is awesome. Not in a way that is going to like destroy the atmosphere in any way. So I'm a big fan of them. But actually, speaking of Grand Theft Auto 5, on a vaguely related note, it's been easy to forget recently with the great games that come out like Horizon and Zelda and even Mass Effect, which I'm really enjoying by the way, and if you are on the fence about it, I think it's a good game. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it over Zelda or Horizon, but if you're after something a bit different, then it's really good. I enjoy it a lot. Please, Carl. We're seeing a lot of those today, aren't we? We can actually turn my lights off now. But yeah, it's easy to forget with those like games coming out that Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out this year. Apparently, like it's not been confirmed, like the date or anything. From what I believe, games can always get pushed back, but like in theory, that game is coming out this year, which that's really crazy because like no one's talking about it. I mean, no one's talking about it because there hasn't been any news on it, which is kind of understandable. We've just had like 2 amazing games come out. Everyone's going like, "Oh, Zelda Game of the Year" or Horizon Game of the Year, but it's like you're forgetting, like this is Red Dead Redemption 2. This is a Rockstar game. Like they don't make bad games, and I'm pretty sure like every game they've released, like in the Grand Theft Auto series, has won Game of the Year. I'm pretty sure Red Dead Redemption probably won Game of the Year. So like these guys, they like, I think it's folly to kind of like, I put this if you turn around and went, hey, look, here's a £10 bet. Like, you can bet it on Zelda to win Game of the Year or Red Dead Redemption 2. I'd put my money on Red Dead Redemption 2. And that's having played Zelda and thinking it is amazing. And in any other year, I would say Zelda would probably rank up there. It might be close to Horizon. Horizon is fantastic as well. But I just have this feeling like Rockstar are just going to absolutely knock it out the park with Red Dead 2. Like the shots that we've seen so far just make it look absolutely stunning, and like we know how good they make games, so I literally cannot wait. People are worried that it's going to have like too much of a multiplayer focus because of Grand Theft Auto Online. I think if you look at any Rockstar game, their roots are always in the story and the first person stuff, sorry, the single player stuff. They've done. I don't think they're going to turn around and be like, hey, yeah, it's online only, or like it's it's multiplayer only, or anything like that. I don't see that. Their roots are in making single player story games. They've started to dabble in online and had great success in it, obviously, and there's a lot of money to be made there, but I think they're the sort of company who don't really, it'd be strange to say, oh, they don't really need to make money, but what I mean is they don't need to abandon their core principles to make more money. They've made a lot of money, like an incredible amount of money. They're a very rich company, so they can afford to, shall we say, not have to shill or not have to just turn around and be like, okay, what's going to make us the most money? This will make us the most money, so we'll do this, instead of being like, no, this is the game we want to make. So I don't have any worries there at all, to be honest with you. That they've always made I keep saying first person, but single player. They've never made first person games really. always made third person. But you know, you look at other games they made like Bully, you know, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, you know, those sort of series. They're all about the story, that single player experience. You know, and then they obviously, the thing is that I feel like they're a big enough company which can focus, and they have enough time on their hands to be able to focus on doing both to a really good standard. You know, people talk about, like, for example, Ubisoft kind of said that there wouldn't be any multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Syndicate because it takes time away from you know, they want to focus on the single player experience with it. People are like, oh great, cool. But what that's kind of equated in people's mind is that, like, multiplayer and single player, like, there's like a slider, you know, and it goes from like 60% to, you know, single player to 40%, and it's like takes stuff away from each other, if that makes sense. But that's not necessarily the case when you are literally developing a game which, you know, you can take your time on and do whatever you like on. You know, and because you're a company which has made that much money and is continuing to make a lot of money off of Grand Theft Auto 5, you it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you could set up a completely different studio just to focus on online and not even have your core people touch it. You know, that's a possibility. Don't get me wrong. I'm not turning around and saying like Rockstar are going to be throwing money down the drain. They're obviously a business. They got to make money, but they are making a lot of money on a daily basis from Grand Theft Auto 5, trust me. They've made so much money from that they, you know, they don't necessarily have to compromise their single player for multiplayer. So, you know, let's look at it from a positive and say, hey, I personally really enjoyed the single player in Grand Theft Auto 5. I liked the story. There was loads to do. Masses of content. It was amazing. And let's not forget that game was like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 for some people without the online content even being unlocked yet. And then the online content came along afterwards and it was incredible. You know, the heists especially took a long time to implement and bring in, but they were superb. And yeah, you know, so sometimes you can have both. We're actually going to park up here, I think. Might as well get some more petrol and sleep, because we're getting pretty close. Okay, let's see what we've got. You might also be able to hear there's some like kids outside playing. I live near a school. Now it's a Saturday, so you know, like, come on, you nerds, what are you doing at school? But I think it's because they like play football and stuff like that. We just might as well refill the tank. I can't believe we've pretty much used like a nearly full tank. We're not even there yet. That's like £1,500 in petrol. And I think maybe we can park up behind this red truck here. You're getting some rest. Okay. Still got 9 hours left. That's a long time actually. Not being funny. This is a long trip. This is probably going to be my longest trip I've ever done. I did say that I did one previously, but I didn't have any audio on it, which was quite sad. But that's the way things go sometimes. I really hope I get audio on this one, because if I don't, I will literally cry. I should do anyway. I tested it beforehand, so unless something weird happened, which, hey, when you're dealing with PCs, some things weird do happen quite a lot, but it's also generally worth it. Now here's a question, like, why has something like this not come out on console? Like, I think it's kind of crazy that you can't play Euro Truck Sim 2 on Xbox or PlayStation 4. Like, obviously they can run it, might be too expensive for them, but you think someone like Sony or Xbox would probably want this as an exclusive, you know. It looks like you have their own studio bought it because it's really popular, and I think like console owners would really enjoy something like this. You know, not everybody wants to go around shooting people in the head all the time, although that is fun. Sometimes you want a more relaxed experience, I guess. And it is a fun game. Like, as weird as it sounds, it is just a fun game. Okay, so are we in Germany yet? Or are we? We might be in Germany. So we have to get through Germany and then go to the Czech Republic, isn't it? Wow, so why did I choose such a long trip? Because I'm trying to get back down to Poland, actually, to be fair. That's why. Because the game damn well reset me. Just going to adjust my seating position a little bit there. But yeah, it's good. It's good fun anyway. And I've actually chat about, I think, some ideas I've got for some different series coming up, because I was thinking about some stuff the other day, because weirdly some of my most popular videos are actually my kind of like rambles, where I ramble about stuff, I guess. You know, like when I just do rambles about like my video game collection, and I did one where just like my favourite games from, you know, 1983 to now, stuff like that, and I think I'm going to start doing some like rambles about different developers and their games and things like that. So maybe like a BioWare one, or like maybe something on like Sierra, who are a company who I've played a lot of games of, and you know, talk about the, I guess, evolution of their games over the years. Maybe Bethesda would be a cool one to do as well. And you know, taking a look at some of their early stuff, and you know, chatting about their games since then, and just stuff like that, and going through like a little history of them, because like sometimes you get a game company nowadays and you forget like the games they did like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. It's easy to do that, and the pedigree which they've had, or maybe the opposite, where they had really shit games to begin with, and then they grew and got better, or maybe, you know, it's the opposite, where they had really great games and then became really shit. Or with a lot of them, what it usually is they just have a lot of ups and downs, you know. Where perhaps they don't quite hit their mark. It's pretty rare to see a publisher or developer I should say, rather, to actually have a hit every single time they release it. Obviously, Rockstar probably the exception, possibly, although they have had some games which haven't done that well. They're not necessarily bad games though. Like, there is a big difference between a good game doing not very well, like selling very well, and a bad game that sells well. It's like, I always have it, where I work, obviously I work in cinema, as I've mentioned many times before, and it's incredible that like some films are just utter trash, and they do really well at cinema. You know, and I mean, again, it's subjective, isn't it? Especially with films. Like, sometimes with video games, you can actually be like, no, you know what? Technically, this game is rubbish. You know, graphically, it's rubbish. It's not just about art style. It's actually like physically rubbish, and you know, you can actually quantify things and be like, no, this game is a bad game. Yeah, there might be parts of it which are redeeming, but overall, you know, it's made badly or whatever. But in a film, that could be actually very subjective. You know, sometimes people love, you know, like for example, take John Wick as an example of a film where some people will love that film and some people will this is just the worst thing ever. I haven't actually seen it, so I would comment, but I think I would be in a group who would like it a lot, because The Raid is like one of my favourite films, and The Raid 2 I love as well. If you haven't watched those films, you definitely should. They are so good. Like, incredible. If you like kind of like martial arts, but with a kind of like more real life gritty kind of thing, it is incredible. The Raid is based around this like police officer. I think it's based in like Thailand or something. It's got an English director of both of them, and he was basically like this really big kind of like martial arts Bruce Lee fan, and he wanted to make like, he was like, oh, people aren't making these films like that are that good anymore. You know, there are some people who do them, but he like wanted to make his own one, and he did. And yeah, The Raid and Raid 2 are just fantastic, and the main character in it is so cool and good, and the people in it are just incredible, and the fight sequences in it are just amazing. And The Raid actually has a very similar kind of feel to it as Judge Dredd, weirdly enough, that they're in a building and they have to kind of fight their way up to the top. Like, it's called The Raid because they're raiding this tower block which belongs to these like drug kingpins, but it kind of goes wrong, and then they have to kind of fight their way up to the top to, you know, kill the boss, sort of thing. It's kind of almost like a video game, but in a movie. It has like mini bosses along the way and stuff like that. But it's so good though, it really is. And I actually might watch that again when I'm on holiday, because I haven't watched it in a while, and it's so good. So I love that type of film. I'll tell you another film actually as well. I don't know why this suddenly gone on to my film club, but hey, I've got 6 hours left to drive, so I might as well fill it with something. But yeah, another film I think which is actually very underrated, which is amazing, is called Warrior, and it's got Tom Hardy in it, and that other guy who I always forget his name, but it's basically about mixed martial arts and this tournament that happens, and these these people who enter it and their reasons for wanting to win it, and the actual kind of fight sequences there are amazing. The acting's brilliant, and it's just really, really good. It's a really cool film. I remember watching it actually quite vividly because a friend of mine recommended it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can watch this. Not really knowing a huge amount about what it was about, and I think I was actually playing Football Manager on my laptop while watching it. So I'm just playing it away, and like the first fight sequence comes up, and if you watch the film, it's the one where Tom Hardy goes to the gym and he's practicing, and then this guy comes up and it's like kind of like taking the piss out of him a little bit, and Tom Hardy just wants to get on with, like, he plays a very moody guy, and he just wants to practice, you know, and get fit for this tournament. And this guy's like you know, goading him, and so eventually he does fight him and just absolutely annihilates him within about 10 seconds. And I watched this and I just like closed my laptop, put it down on the side. I was like, right, no, this film's got my attention now. I'm gonna watch this, and glad I did. And weirdly enough, it's actually got Kurt Angle from WWE in it, who he doesn't really say very much. He's one of the other fighters, but it's a very gritty and quite dark film as well. But the end fight is really, really good. I won't spoil anything, but it's really, really good. Very, very good. Very well done. I should watch that film actually while I'm at it. Maybe I'll have a day where I'll watch The Raid 1 and 2 and then Warrior. That would be pretty good. I also should watch John Wick because I think I'd like that. I watched a little video on YouTube. Some guys, I generally can't remember the name of them, so but probably if you look up John Wick Nerf gun, you'd find the video, and it's just really good. Basically, they kind of recreate John Wick, but they use using like Nerf guns, but it's really well done. I thought it was going to be like really shit, but it's actually very, very good and very clever. And it was super cool actually. Actually made me want to buy a Nerf gun, which is weird. Because why would a 35-year-old man buy a Nerf gun? Well, true. Why would a 35-year-old man record gameplay videos where he's whispering and put it on YouTube? I guess, you know, there's that argument as well. And I guess that's what it all comes back down to, doesn't it, really? The YouTube and doing this in the end, which is kind of crazy because if someone said to me like, I don't know, 5 years ago, you'd be like, yeah, do you know what, you're going to spend quite a lot of your spare time just recording you playing video games, like whispering into a mic or speaking softly to help people chill out and relax and also enjoy. I would have been like, oh my god, where did my life go so wrong? But really, it's probably the best thing I've ever done, in truth. Both in terms because it's something which other people can enjoy, you know, so it's that, but also it's something which I enjoy as well. And I think when you find that balance, that's really special. You know, whether you are an artist, you know, and you really enjoy drawing and then sharing it with people, and they enjoy seeing the pictures, or you know, they enjoy seeing it hung on their wall or whatever. Whether you're a writer who really enjoys writing the stories, and also I think we need to. Oh shit! Whoopsie! I've got done by a police. No, speed camera, isn't it? Yeah, speed camera. God damn it! I guess it was inevitable at some point during this journey that would happen. But I've actually completely lost my train of thought now, and I think it was actually a good train of thought. Sorry, yeah, whether you're a writer and you like writing novels or something like that, and you can share that, like, that's good, you know. It's nice not to have a hobby which is just kind of purely selfish in a way, if that makes sense. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but if you can combine the two of, like, I don't want to say like helping people because that sounds like I'm some sort of like doctor or something, which is obviously not the case, but kind of get the gist of it. If it's something which other people can enjoy and you yourself enjoy doing it or producing the work, or just enjoy doing what you do, then that's kind of the pinnacle of what you want to be able to do, isn't it? Because that's a contribution to society, while at the same time a contribution to yourself. So that's pretty special, I think. And hey, if you can make some money on the side, even better. I make some money on the side, not really enough. I've probably, in the lifetime of my channel, I've made just about enough to buy that Horizon Zero Dawn collector edition with the little statue, which for a year and 3 months, well, nearly 4 months, not really a very good return on time investment. So it's lucky that I enjoy doing this. Otherwise, I think I'd be rather depressed right now. But also, I wouldn't be doing this right now, would I? Like, I find it weird that, I guess I don't find it that weird, but the thought of, like, there are obviously some people out there on YouTube who are making content they don't really like or enjoy because they make money on it. And obviously I do understand that, in so much as you want to make money and money will buy things and hopefully that will make you happy, but like, there's something really sad, I think, about someone's life if that that's kind of what it comes to. It's like, don't get me wrong, everybody has a job, okay, and sometimes I don't enjoy my job, but for the general whole of it, I look forward to going to work and enjoy doing the things I do. And also I know that what I do is also like helpful to people, and running a good cinema is good. That contributes to society in a way, and people having a good time going to the cinema, that sort of thing is good. That helps people. But just to be like put videos up on YouTube, which I genuinely did not like, just to make money, there's something really soul sapping about that, I think, and really, really sad, because I've spoken about it before as to why I'd never want to go to a point whereby I just solely, are we on some sort of bridge here? Yeah, we are. Okay, that's pretty cool. Like a curvy bridge. And I was thinking before about how I'd never want to go down the kind of like professional YouTuber route, just making money off ad revenue, because that is where things like that will happen, where you will end up destroying your own channel just to get views, and in return money, without really perhaps being able to do the things you want to do, or without being able to take the risks that you can take when you can financially support yourself through different means. So you can see like more people are going through Patreon to get money. For example, I've spoken about it before, like there's a channel called No Clip which makes video game documentaries. It's really good, you should check it out. And the guy there, Danny O'Dwyer, used to be a game journalist, and basically he was being restricted. He used to work for GameSpot, and he was being restricted in what he could do and what he wanted to do, because they're a business who need to worry about clicks and views on their website. That's how they make money. And so they would kind of be like, look, there's not really the scope of this is what people want to see. People want to see top 10 Zelda characters, or crap like that, basically, which I say it's crap. I'd probably click on that. And as a result, like, he decided to get funded on Patreon, which he did very successfully, and now he makes the type of videos he wants to make. And in some ways he's earned that by doing his time, but also and so he's earned that goodwill from people, but he's also earned it in the documentaries he's made so far, which have been really thoughtful and insightful. He's done one on Rocket League, one on Doom, another one on like mystery games so far, and you can tell that it's a project of passion rather than something which is a job for him to do. If he was solely relying on YouTube advertising money, then he wouldn't have made the videos he's made, because they're not clickbaity enough, for it. So, or because they're like hour-long documentaries, they're not. You'd have to split them up into like 10-minute segments and put them up separately to get extra ad revenue, or put in like 15 mid-roll ads in there just to make money on it and stuff like that. And like that's the kind of thing I desperately want to avoid within my channel, because that because I know that certain, for example, one game which does very well in ASMR is Overwatch, just because it's a popular game, people like it, and people are watching it. Now, I don't enjoy playing Overwatch. I don't particularly like the game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just not for me. I played it during the beta, and it wasn't for me. But I know if I did put videos of that up on my channel, it would do very well. I know if I put probably only get like 100 views. If I put Overwatch video on here, I'd probably get like 1,500 views or something like that. So it's not necessarily about, it's more about what you want to do, what you want to play, than necessarily being like, okay, I'm just gonna, play the games which are popular, and do that because, my only interest is getting my channel to, a point whereby it financially supports me, and then just to make as much money as I can while I can. Because at the end of the day, when I look back on it, I want to have something I'm proud of, and I want to look back on it and say, everything I've done on there, I'm proud of doing, and I'm happy that I did this or did that. And there are always going to be some things which I might regret, but I'm not going to be like, God, man, I just like totally sold out to get money. Like, that would be really, really sad if that was the case. I hope so. So yeah, I don't know. There's always going to be people who don't like the games I play, or perhaps think that I've been up too much content on this thing or this game and not enough of this, or they want to see more videos of something or other. It's natural, it's understandable. I get that when I watch other people's channels. I'm like, oh my god, why does this person not make videos on this anymore? Why does this person not do more of these? These are really good. But ultimately, as a content creator and someone who's been doing this for a year and 3 months now, and producing 800 videos, I can tell you that, like, nobody wants to make a video that they don't enjoy. There have been a few times with videos where I've made it and I've been like, I've just trashed it because I'm like, I don't enjoy that, and I can see that's come across in the video. There have been some series which I've stopped because I haven't enjoyed. I've just stopped enjoying it. Which is kind of natural, I guess, in a way, but it's difficult balance to maintain. And ultimately, one thing I know from my work life is, like, you're never going to please everyone with what you do. Like, never ever. We schedule films at work, and there will be people who say, oh, why aren't you showing this film? I want to watch this film. And you're like, it's just, we have to show either, a nice mixture of films, or we don't think that film will do very well in this particular cinema. And you just know that you're never going to please anybody, or everybody, sorry, but as long as you can kind of, please most people, and most importantly please yourself with what you're doing, then that's the kind of the important thing. And we are coming up to the end of what probably is my longest journey. Certainly distance wise, I think it's my longest journey. We won't actually buy a truck at the end of this video. I'll buy it at the beginning of the next one, because this one's obviously a lot longer than I actually expected. Going through, we'll probably do, like, buy a truck and have a look at that, and then do a little shorter journey next time. But obviously I had to kind of do a longer one because goddamn games sent me back in London. I actually didn't even look when the patch updated either, I'm actually not even looking if there's traffic coming here either. I'm just following this red car. So I have no idea when the patch actually updated. I haven't noticed anything change. Probably something really, really important happened, but who knows? It must have been pretty big for it to reset me, I guess, because otherwise it wouldn't have done that. Nearly there. I think I'll skip the parking as well, to be fair. We'll have a look, actually, we'll have a look how easy it is. Well, that was a hell of an adventure, wasn't it? From London to the Czech Republic. I can't remember discovered. Am I supposed to go in there? Are you shitting me? Are you actually... what? Are you actually joking me? You want me to drive through there? Oh my god. I'm hoping I can... yeah, good. There's no way I'm going to get through there, so... oh, I'm skipping that. Sorry, but I was not getting in there. Excellent. Okay, great. We've reached level 12. Wow, nearly hit level 30 as well. We made 59,000 from that trip. We didn't get... see, this is what I don't understand. We didn't lose any money from damage, even though we clearly got damaged. And other times I've not... I swear I've not got damaged. Plus 10,000 for skill rank, long distance. Wow, that's pretty good. What's a fragile cargo do? Okay. I think I'll go for high value, to be fair. There we go. Okay. See, we are damaged. Yeah, I don't get that. We've got 150,000. We will go and do a truck dealer next time, and we will buy another truck for our company, because then we'll have 3 trucks. I think we can hold... yeah, we can hold one more truck at our garage. My picture. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, it's been my pleasure. I'll catch you guys